Hi guys, I'm Angela Clarke and thank you for joining me on today's book review. Today I am going to be reviewing the book that has taken the Western speaking world by storm. It is Fire and Fury by Michael Wolff, which is an expose of Donald Trump's first 9 months in his presidency. So a bit of a different book for me to be reviewing, but I read it and I can't show it to you because I don't have a hard copy. I'm based in the UK and I don't think hard copies are actually even available yet over here, and in the United States they've pretty much sold out. I downloaded it onto Audible and listened to it that way via Amazon. Let me read you the back copy though, which is taken from Amazon's website. With extraordinary access to the Trump White House, Michael Wolff tells the inside story of the most controversial presidency of our time. The first 9 months of Donald Trump's term were stormy, outrageous and absolutely mesmerising. Now, thanks to his deep access to the West Wing, best-selling author Michael Wolff tells the riveting story of how Trump launched a tenure as volatile and as fiery as the man himself. In this explosive book, Wolff provides a wealth of new details about the chaos in the Oval Office. Among the revelations, what President Trump's staff really think of him, what inspired Trump to claim he was wiretapped by President Obama, why FBI Director James Comey was really fired, why Chief Strategist Steve Bannon and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner couldn't be in the same room, who is really directing the Trump administration's strategy in the wake of Bannon's firing, what the secret to communicating with Trump is, what the Trump administration has in common with the movie The Producers. Never before has a presidency so divided the American people. Brilliantly reported and astoundingly fresh, Michael Wolff's Fire and Fury shows us how and why Donald Trump has become the king of discord and disunion. This is an extraordinary book. It's worth saying that a number of people feel that Michael Wolff is not the most creditable journalist that there is out there, and there have been a number of questions raised about some of the things already that have appeared in the book. That said, he has an awful lot of audio and tapes that these are drawn from, that his book is drawn from, and the insight that he has from actually having been inside the White House during these first 9 months is, well, I mean, it's unprecedented. Straight up, I'm going to say that this book caught me by surprise in the sense that I found myself at points feeling sorry for Donald Trump. I don't like Donald Trump, I don't like his policies, I don't like his government, and yet I felt sorry for him. The way that Michael Wolff writes, it feels like we're in the midst of a big power play, one of the big power struggles of history. It's evocative of Henry VIII. If you've read Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel, then you know the machinations that go on behind the scenes, behind the seat of power. And in this case, what you have in Fire and Fury is you have Donald Trump, a man who is ill-equipped to be president, a man who is doesn't like reading, never reads, doesn't want to read, doesn't want to learn, as repeatedly over and over again quoted by Michael Wolff and talked about by others as being incapable, unable, unwilling to take on what he needs to do to be president. You have a man who has isolated himself within the White House. He has his own bedroom that's separate from his wife Melania. Him and Melania have separate rooms, the first president since JFK that's ever done that. In that bedroom he has had 2 more televisions fitted so that he can watch 3 televisions. That's how he gains his information, according to this book. He's in that room, locked away in there on his own. The rest of the government, which is made up of a hodgepodge of political pundits, pollsters, people who are members of Trump's family, including Ivanka Trump, his daughter, and Jared, her husband, are vying for political power. It reminds me of a Shakespearean play where Donald Trump is King Lear and his fatal flaw is stupidity, and instead of the heath he has his bedroom with the 3 televisions in it. And outside you've got all of this kind of infighting going on, these power plays going on while people are trying to get control of him, trying to get control of the government. There are all these delicious kind of mean girls tidbits that Michael Wolff puts in there. For example, Steve Bannon, right-wing Breitbart owner who was a key part of Trump's government, refers to Ivanka Trump and her husband Jared as Javanka. In turn, Javanka refer to Kellyanne Conway as Nails in a derisory sense, which is apparently talking about her manicure. And it's all this kind of like backbiting, fighting, power struggles, but we're talking about their power struggling for the United States, their power struggling for the nuclear codes, for the power to, you know, it's absolutely extraordinary. By the time you get to the end of Fire and Fury, Michael Wolff himself is actually making allusions to Shakespeare, and he definitely plays up the drama of the situation. For example, when he talks about FBI James Conway being fired, he uses language where he says Trump pulled the trigger. He's writing like it's a blockbuster, writing like it's a big kind of drama. It feels like that, and that makes it enjoyable to read, except for every now and then you remember this is real life and this is actually happening. There are moments of comedy, you know, they clearly weren't meant to be funny. I mean, Michael Wolff means them to be funny, but the people who said them were, it wasn't meant to be funny. There are moments of shock and horror, and it is an extraordinary read. I think probably elements of the book should be taken with, I'm going to say a pinch of salt. There are some interesting moments. So I feel that Michael Wolff actually sides against the press and sort of sides with Trump. He sort of shows sympathy for the way that he's been treated by the press on occasion. He clearly doesn't like anybody that is part of the Trump courtier, which is fair enough. It's an extraordinary book. It's an extraordinary insight, and I'm not sure that there's anything else ever like this. Usually what happens with kind of political things is that it's all kept very sedate, and the drama, the kind of the intense kind of people aspect of it is retrospectively added by history. So they might have happened, but it was a lot more kind of like underlined. And it's, you know, in later years we have films about, you know, Watergate, we have films about Jackie, as in Jackie Onassis, and how the drama was there, undercover, hidden. Now we've got the drama right there playing out on Twitter, and what Michael Wolff has done is completely absorbed that. He is a show person as well, and he is writing as a show person. He is, you know, Trump is still in the book a show leader, a showmaker, a show person. He is out there performing even within the book. It's an extraordinary read. It's a fairly easy read. It's an interesting insight into American politics, though it doesn't give you masses of insight in the sense that the current administration don't really know what they're doing, so they're not operating under the usual kind of rules. I have to say as well that the way that the book ends, which is focusing on Steve Bannon just after he's been fired by Trump, is incredibly chilling. And I think in many ways this book isn't just about Trump, it's about Steve Bannon. And I would say that Michael Wolff, he definitely doesn't like Steve Bannon as well. And Steve Bannon, in my mind, comes across as even darker, even more threatening than Donald Trump. This book has shot straight to #1. Loads of people have bought it, loads of people are reading it, loads of people are listening to it. It's great, isn't it, to see so many people reading. I think it's going to be incredible to see what unfolds from this point. If you're into politics, if you have any interest in Trump whatsoever, do pick it up. Don't feel like it might upset you. So I was worried that I would find it so stressful and so upsetting, but I found the long form narrative of looking at a 9-month period easier to digest and analyse, and less kind of stressful in that sense than I did the kind of constant 24/7 instant reaction of kind of Twitter and the news that we have when Trump does something awful and I go, oh my god, I'm so upset by this. Let me know if you've read it. Let me know if you managed to buy it. Let me know what you thought. And if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel for other book reviews and various book related videos. Alright guys, thanks so much for your time. That's love. Bye.